Hey, IDS 302, Session A, Summer 2020. It's, what is it, Thursday morning, May 28th. So coming to you kind of live here. Don't let that distract you. It's been really hot out. I had to come in before 8:30 today for the first time. It's terrible. Anyways, enough first world problems. Let's take a look. I wanted to comment about your topic choices. Um, most everyone, of course, is getting 30 out of 30. Not everybody has turned theirs in yet, but I just want to emphasize to even though you score 30, please take a look at the comments I'm leaving for you because there's going to be some tips there, perhaps, and I'm going to talk about more specifics as we move forward. Also, another housekeeping item, remember that this course is based on points. So I took a look, and most everybody's running an A, and that's great. But it won't stay an A if you don't do the work, okay? So some people maybe have 210 points and they're, 100%, and then some people have 60 points, and they're both showing A's because of what you did out of what you did. So just be careful with that. Remember, 700 points is a C, 800 points is a B, 900 points and above is an A. Um, and that's how that goes. So remember that. I also want to I'm going to attach a couple links in the announcement I send out, just for those who would like to take a look at IDS in real life through ASU. For example, there's a link that I'll send you. One is about an ASU Now that I get the email from every day, and talking about this ASU architecture students uh, experience life-changing Roden Crater um, housing design project. And I don't think I can show you here, but it's this here. And what this has to do with is another link that I'm going to send you about the Roden Crater, which is this one here. Sorry about the reflection, but it's is an artist, James Terrell, and he has this crater or something way up northern Arizona. It's an amazing thing, okay, and it's inside a dormant volcano, and it's very limited to get in to see it. I've tried, you can't. And the interesting thing was about a year or so ago, ASU was committed to partnering with him and to raise funds to keep the project going. The guy is kind of an eccentric artist, older guy, and he's got his own plane, flies around it and things. And it's just a very interesting topic for this crater. And the interesting thing also on this is that I think 2 days after ASU announced that, of all people, Kanye came through with, I think, a couple million to support this as well. So it's an interesting project. And I'm just highlighting it here because the architecture students went up there to this crater. So you got a lot of geology involved here. But the architecture, they're designing some housing for researchers as well as, students, people that come up there. And it has to be very, sustainability based, climate based. It's gotta reflect the natural surroundings and be very low key. So there's some challenges there for interdisciplinary work in terms of architecture, geology, um, and many others probably in there. So I thought it's an interesting little real life interdisciplinary topic. And I will emphasize, I might as well get into that now, about disciplines. Remember, IDS is interdisciplinary studies, and we talk about integration. And obviously, we've already established common sense is there's a lot of integrative thinking and work that we do in our daily lives. So that's not a surprise. So when we step up to the academic scholarly level of interdisciplinary studies, the key word in there is discipline, which means, like I said, it's a separate silo or box of knowledge, theory, concepts that one area of study um, accepts and works with, okay? And these disciplines are separate. And again, we're trying to integrate the disciplines because if these architects went up there, looked at that, I mean, what are they going to see? Is it a place for a resort, a hotel, or and what are the criteria and the characteristics of what they're looking for? And they have to work in many different areas to solve this project. Okay, so getting into the discipline, the word itself. Okay, don't capitalize the word discipline unless it's starting a sentence. A discipline is just a common noun. Okay, but again, when you talk about the disciplines as disciplines, your disciplines, any discipline, you should capitalize that in this course, especially because it gives it that proper noun importance that it should have as a separate field of knowledge. So I'm just going to remind people again, because I'm seeing some of that come through on the submissions that we're forgetting to capitalize those disciplines. Okay, so it's not small b biology, it's not small c chemistry, it's capital C chemistry, capital B biology. Please remember that. Those are going to be easy points that you don't want to lose, okay? So I just want to talk about that. And remember what disciplines are. Again, they're individual silos of knowledge so that a police officer is not a discipline. A politician is not a discipline. They may be people who work in certain disciplinary environments, but the discipline is the field of knowledge. So we got to be careful. We talk about occupations compared to the disciplines. And it may sound like common sense, but all of a sudden when you're writing about it, it may slip a little bit. And I really want to clarify that to you in terms of being an academic and a scholar and writing in a scholarly style to understand what these are, okay? Let's do Easter egg number 1 right away. And I'm just going to say IDS in real life, just because that's what I had. I've got some long Easter eggs this time. So Easter egg number 1, IDS in real life. All right, so let's talk about Tanner step 1, okay? Again, you cannot do this unless you get an approved topic from me through the assignment, okay? The Tanner step 1. So let's pull back again, I guess, to look at this entire course. Yeah, 15 weeks down to 6. What are we doing? Okay, it's applied interdisciplinary skills, integrative skills. We're doing a research paper, a research project, okay, start to finish, that will accumulate during the course, during these next 5 modules, 2 to 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. You're going to be putting it together. So some of the things you can know is that, let's say you don't do well in one of the week's papers or whatever, you can still improve it later on, okay? Because what you're going to do is step 1 and in this module and step 2, 3, 4, and 5, and put together a paper. We're doing somewhat of a hybrid project because typical research that's done in most areas has a organizational quality to it that contains certain sections and subsections. What I'm doing is integrating Tanner's 5 steps for an integrative process into a more standard research type of paper. So the big picture is we're doing this research project, we're identifying a problem or a topic, okay, and then we're going to work through the steps, and those steps will include like an annotated bibliography, a little miniature literature review, and we're going to look at original data, not only peer-reviewed primary source data that will happen, I think it's step 3, maybe 2, no 3, but you're also going to gather your own data. And this is something we're going to get into. And how do we do that? Well, it's just one component of research. As I've said, that research builds on previous research. It's all about knowledge that keeps building. So what are you going to contribute? You're going to look at previous research that's done in your field, your topic, okay, your problem and issue. You're going to cite those peer-reviewed primary sources that show what came before you in terms of research. And we don't have a lot of time, even in a 15-week course, let alone a 6-week course, to gather data and put something together. So what I have my students do is put together a survey of random adults. And I'll be getting into this later, but just to give you an idea of the overall, you're going to do this, establish the problem and information about it. And then you're going to look at the previous research that's been done on it. Then you're going to, set up your survey. And I'm working with a new survey site, SurveyMonkey, that I was using. They've been slowly limiting what we can do for free. Nobody's paying anything. Do not pay. So we're going to work on, I think it's Survey Planet. I went through it this morning, and I'll be doing demonstrations on that. It's nothing to worry about now. I would like to do a quantitative survey, but we'll get into that because you have quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is quantity, quantify. It's much easier to look at the data, to measure it, to compare it, contrast it between demographics, genders, and all these things. It's more simplified in a short term. Qualitative research dealing with the quality of a certain response or certain data is more difficult. You have to establish certain coding and parameters and transcriptions and all these types of things that I obviously think is too much in a short course and too much in a undergrad for introductory research course. So we're going to probably stick with a quantitative survey, and it'll go to random adults. And I will get into that. And that's where we're going to kind of drill down to more specifics in your topic. But step one, going back to that now, let me look at the page here. Tanner step one. Okay, it's worth 100 points. So these are the big papers, all right? Remember, Tanner step one, I have it in the instructions, by the way, here, if you look at it, is define a complex issue or problem. Be specific, provide background information concerning the issue problem. It's a general instruction, but I think you should be able to get what you need from that. Within this, though, there are 3 separate subsections of step one that I want you to address. Number one is statement of the problem, okay? That's where you can put in a little more background information on the problem or issue. Why is it as such? Okay. Then you go with the purpose of the study. What's the purpose of this study? You can, don't overpromise, by the way. Okay. You're not going to solve anything. You're not going to, the easiest way to say it is the purpose of the study is to contribute or to add to the body of knowledge in this particular field regarding this issue, okay? Don't overpromise. Don't get all like, this is going to be the greatest. No, stay humble in research, okay? The purpose of the study is to gather data, is to identify certain criteria, just that's the kind of thing you want to be written. I do have a sample. Let's wait on that. Okay, so the statement of the problem, purpose of the study, significance of the study. Here's where I want you to be careful also, not to overpromise and use hyperbole. Do not use hyperbole, okay? That means like an exaggerated sense of the importance of something or just to exaggerate it, all right? So the significance of your study will be you intend to see trends, identify demographic preferences, opinions, and things. And so now looking at the sample, okay, there is a sample. Don't follow it verbatim. It is intended to give you a sense of step one. Let me see what I have here. And open Sesame. Okay, so this was done in the last class, and it's just so you know, it's 2 pages. Look at the sample, and it's 2 pages plus a references/works cited. Notice the formatting. It's going to be important. I'm going to talk about that, but notice how the beautiful formatting of this paper and talks about step one. However, when I had this assignment done, I did not break it down into those 3 subsections. I believe it was covered here, in a way, but we did the steps more straightforward. We didn't kind of integrate them in a standard research, which I'm trying to do here with the statement of the problem and the purpose of the study and the significance of the study. Those are three sections that break it up into, okay? But that is one sample there. And then there is a sample of the cover and table of contents for the paper that you'll be putting together. Now on this, I want you to be really careful. I'm just showing you to give you some idea of a cover page and a table of contents for the final paper. I do not want a cover page for this paper until the final paper. Use a running head is fine. Okay, make sure your name is on it. No cover page. Okay, so I'll deduct 10 points if you give me a cover page. Okay, I don't want it. Table of contents, no table of contents on this one. I'm showing you an example. I want you to understand where you're going. What's the destination of this? Not just to do make work. There is a destination in mind, and that is the complete paper. And here is a table of contents example so you get an idea. That's all it's there for, okay? And again, the sample step one is there, but I don't have it. I'll be hopefully using one of yours as a sample for the next course in the fall that will show those subsections, okay? So are you with me? Good, all right. And so let's talk about Easter egg number 2. I'm going to give you an affirmation. Easter egg number 2 is I can do this. Okay, because I've had students say, oh my God, how am I going to do a 20-page paper, 15-page, 25, whatever. I can do this. That's your Easter egg number 2. Okay, you will. You'll be surprised, and it'll be a good one for you to keep. All right. So now let's talk about the formatting of this paper. And if you have any questions on this, be sure to email me, okay, and we can talk about it. I do not critique papers before they're due. I will talk to you about it, but I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, does this look good? Let me know. No, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to do it for everybody, okay? So just, we can talk though, for sure. Okay, so formatting, this is important, all right? I say APA formatting, but I don't go over the top with it, okay? The main parts of formatting, the main things, Times New Roman 12-point font. Okay, you got that? Number 1, write these down if you have to. Times New Roman 12-point font, all right? I want paragraph indents, okay? Not extreme, just tab it once and it should move you over perfectly, okay? I don't want little two space paragraph indents. I want just a standard paragraph indent. Use paragraphs. I can't read a whole long 1-paragraph paper of 3 pages, okay? No color, by the way, no highlighting, no exaggerated font sizes or anything. If you want to do your subsections with a little bigger font and bold them, that's fine, okay? Citations, okay, here's the thing. Citations is an APA. That means in-text citations should come before the punctuation, not after the punctuation, before. If you do it after the punctuation, then your next sentence is starting with a citation, and that's going to get you a ding there because it comes before the punctuation, all right? It comes after a quotation mark, but before the punctuation, parentheses, right? Last name, comma, the year. If you have the page number, great, okay? All right, just look at how sample paper's done, things like that, and you'll see it, all right? I'm being very, very clear on this because I don't want to have any misunderstanding. All right, it's very important. In-text citations. If it's more than 39 words, number 1, that's too much. Okay, there are cases where long quotes are important and usable, but if you're going to rely on long quotes, it's just not going to come out right. But long quotes are formatted different over 39 words. They have to be blocked in, they have to have the citation come after the punctuation. It's a whole thing. I advise against 39 word plus 40 plus word quotes and citations, okay? I would just soon break it apart, all right? Go to Purdue OWL, look at the APA formatting. There's examples of anything you need in there. Examples. Don't have to overdo it. I don't want an abstract. I don't need a thesis. I don't need anything that just, by the way, speaking of that, on the statement of the problem, if you want to do a hypothesis in there, that's fine also. Okay. Um, any citation that you use in text, we call it in text citation, it has to match up with the citation in the works cited list. Okay. And the same way that anything down at the bottom in the works cited has to be cited on top. So that I can go in there and go control find, and I can see Smith, and Smith will appear on top and the bottom as a citation. Okay. All right. I will check those too, by the way. I'll check citations. Um, the format of your works cited is also very important. Double line space, the whole paper, okay? Your works cited list starts at the top of the first blank page after you're done writing. So if you finish up 2 lines in, you go all the way to the next page, start at the top, works cited. It's double line spaced. There are no extra line spaces between between entries. And also I want to say on top, don't do a bunch of extra line spaces. It just looks really bad. So you do double line spacing throughout. And the works cited is double line spacing. It is no spaces between entries, and it's in hanging paragraph form. If you don't know what hanging paragraph form is, look it up, okay? But it is kind of simple how to do it. You don't wing it. You highlight, you right click, you look at paragraph, you go to indent, hanging, and you do that, and you're fine. Okay. If you have problems with that, let me know. All right. I know I'm talking a lot about formatting, but I figure if I can get it out of the way earlier, you're just going to fly through this because it's pretty simple after you know it. Okay. And I didn't know it. It wasn't like, you're born with this stuff. You got to learn how to do it. Once you do it, you understand that you're just taking your scholarly writing to a new level. All right. Which is the appropriate level. All right. So take a look at those things. And I think we should just about it. Time has really been flying here, and I haven't even had anything funny to say. Well, how about this? You guys, thankfully for these videos, I clean up twice a week now. So that's always good, right? All right, so formatting is important. Let's see, line gaps, paragraph. Oh, big, huge one. I forgot. Okay. Well, first let me talk. Okay, the papers before this, the submissions, they've all been relatively informal. Okay, this is more of a formal paper, number one. Okay. Now, scholarly writing, guess what? You don't get to appear in the paper. You don't get to appear. That means no I, no me, no my. All right. There's significant dings for this. Writing academic style is different than writing I want to do this and I like to do this and I picked this because I like to do this. I want to be this. My study, my this. No, you don't get to appear. The closest you do get to come is by identifying yourself as the current researcher, the current research project. That's the only ways you can sneak yourself in there. Okay. It's very important. It's a tough thing for people to do. If you have trouble with specific um, issues with that, let me know. I'll help you, okay? But you don't get to use yourself. Think of it this way. Think of any textbook you use in college or in high school, grade school, whatever. Think of a history textbook, okay? Have you ever had a history textbook that said, well, the Civil War, ended in 1860 whatever, and I always wanted to write about history in the Civil War to tell my students in elementary school about history because I find it fascinating. You never saw that. You never thought about the author of the textbook. Yes, somebody wrote that. Can you believe it? But they're not in it. They don't appear. Okay. Just remember how that looks. All right. So are we good then? Um, all right. So no I, no me, no my. Stay away from the royal we. Okay. Because I'm like, how many on your team are researchers? Okay. Make sure there's no big line gaps, double line spacing, paragraph indents. Okay. Easter egg number 3 is formatting is important. Wow. So I have all these like 3-word, 4-word Easter eggs. Easter egg number 3, formatting is important. All right. If you have any questions about this, you need to fire something at me here, okay? we'll deal with it. You guys have been doing really good. I like having a class size of 20 some students here. This is great. I can give it more attention individually if needed. So do that, and then I'll send this announcement out. Check out those links if you'd like, and I think that's it, right? Forks up. Peace. Be healthy out there.